Very good. I see what you're doing here, Bruce Springsteen, New Jersey. So, got married in 1992, and I was working for my dad, the great Harvey Rosenberg, who loves Bernie, loves him like a son. I know you love him, too.
It's requited.
I know. So I was working for my dad, and Danielle and I first got married. We lived in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. And I would make the trip every single day through the Holland Tunnel to Jersey City. My father's plant, still has it, by the way, was about 4 blocks away from the Holland Tunnel. And I would do all of his banking for him on Communiport Avenue, Provident Bank. And I was a guy that was in Jersey City almost every day for years and years. And like I said, my dad is still there. Still goes once or twice a week at the age of 85 plus. So I have a certain love for Jersey City. And when I read this morning in the New York Post that their mayor, Steve Fulop, is very, very upset with this congestion pricing deal, and now is talking about a border tax of his own, kind of a revenge to New York. I was like, well, hold on a second. I'm a New Yorker. I live in New York. My family lives in New York. But my dad, I've got roots in Jersey City. So this becomes a tussle for me.
Civil war.
Yes. With that said, here he is, the very angry mayor of Jersey City, Steve Fulop. So that's how we came together, Steve. I saw you in the paper today, and I said, we got to get this guy on because I'm a New Yorker, but I do have ties to Jersey City, and I feel your pain.
So listen, Mayor Fulop, tell us, look, what are you going to do? You're going to actually engage the state Jersey lawmakers to try to impose this tax to New Jersey?
Let me just say 2 things before I get into that. Yeah. First, I love your background with Jersey City, and secondly,
you like that?
I got a good friend, Joe DeMarc, who's a longtime listener. I just wanted to give a shout out to him.
Okay,
cool.
Very nice.
So with that said, look, my point yesterday was not really about a tax. It was just the fact that what Cuomo and de Blasio pushed forward, people should be concerned about whether you live in New York or New Jersey, because intentionally they didn't give any details. And the unintended consequences of that can be really, really hurtful to regular people. And so my point was, hey, what if New Jersey did the same thing to you? It's kind of a race to zero, and nobody benefits from this. So the right thing to do is really work together between states because our economies are very linked together.
Well, there's no question. And certainly folks travel back and forth between both states. You both have a lot to gain and certainly a lot to lose. What is the one thing, based upon the lack of details you've gotten, Mayor, but from what we know, what is the one thing that bothers you most about this congestion pricing deal?
Well, you don't know who's exempted and who's going to be in it. So if you think about from the Jersey side, they've said maybe the Lincoln and Holland would be exempted, but the GW wouldn't. So people would shift their driving, obviously, to the Lincoln and the Holland, which would be a problem for us. Or if they shifted to mass transit, that would be a problem for us as well, because New Jersey Transit has no plan similar to the MTA to fix the problem. So my point was, you want to have a regional solution. You want to have something that is not, negatively impacting one or the other. And people from New York say, hey, I don't need to go to New Jersey, or I don't have any business there, and that's just not true. I mean, people live here, families here, Giants are here, Jets are here, the American dream is here. So, I mean, it's a linked economy at the end of the day.
It is indeed, Mayor Fulop from Jersey City. But to play devil's advocate, the New Jersey commuters, they come into the city, they enjoy the fruits, the benefits of this city. And, having a subway system that makes the city efficient and smooth running, I mean, shouldn't some of these commuters have skin in the game? The subway system needs money, and it's part of the city. And shouldn't you guys contribute to it somewhat?
Yeah. Absolutely, and the devil's advocate position to that is that New Jersey people come into New York, help the local economy, pay New York taxes, and we need help with New Jersey Transit in the path because that's linked to New York's economy as well. So shouldn't New York people have skin in the game to make sure that their economy is vibrant?
Sounds fair.
Fair point.
I mean, it sounds fair
listen,
to me.
the fact that it's not a regional conversation, you're absolutely right about that. That's a very good point. That they did it in secrecy and without consultation to the neighboring people who are going to be affected by it. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But if you live in New Jersey or you live in New York, you should be concerned and you should be disappointed with your elected officials. That's the truth.
Well, we are disappointed. Don't worry, we hate them. But disappointed is a nice way of saying it, Mayor. Okay. So what is the exact threat that, and it's a fun threat, but I call it a threat. What is the exact threat that you're proposing here?
Okay, so it's it's a hypothetical threat, which basically means it's not a threat. But that said, my point was that if New Jersey did this to New York, right, both states ultimately lose in the long term. That's it. That's basically where I was going with this, is saying that, okay, so New Jersey needs to be aggressive now because we really do need to force Cuomo to the table. And just writing a letter to Cuomo saying we're disappointed is insufficient, right? So New Jersey needs to start to explore options, whether that's legal options, whether that's taxing options, because you need to level the playing field to kind of force that regional conversation.
Now, do you feel like, it's funny, I was having this conversation with some guy in Queens, Jimmy Van Bramer, and it turns out that him and Cortez and a bunch of others actually got the Amazon deal squashed in Queens. So we know that every now and then big government loses these battles. So do you feel like you're going to hear directly from Andrew Cuomo at some point about this?
Well, I mean, I would hope that the governor of New Jersey hears from him. I'm not quite at that level yet, but I would hope the governor hears from Cuomo and have a real conversation.
Have you had a conversation with that guy, Phil Murphy, the governor of New Jersey?
You said that guy.
Yeah.
I reached out to him, and I'm sure I'll touch base with him in the next few days.
And how does he feel? I mean, he certainly, is he as angry as you are?
I mean, look, he's concerned. He wrote a letter to Cuomo, which was saying that he has concerns. My only point is that, I think we need to be a little more aggressive than writing a letter, because Cuomo is just going to kind of throw out the letter. So, you need to kind of take more aggressive posturing, because you got to force New York to the table. It is a regional economy. If you live in Westchester, you should be concerned. If you live in Long Island, you should be concerned.
Sure.
If you live in Connecticut.
What about a tax on New Yorkers traveling to the Meadowlands to see some of our football teams in your state?
I mean, look, I don't think that's beneficial to anybody. I mean, like, my point was that a tit for tat doesn't help anybody. But, hopefully the hope is that you get some details around this. It's disappointing how this is done. And then there's a conversation around how New Jersey and New York can work together to solve New Jersey Transit, solve the path, and, of course, solve the MTA issue.
Well, give me some of those. Right, give me some of those, Mayor Steve Fulop here, Jersey City. We know the issue. I take the train every day in New York City, Mayor, and it's filthy. They're never on time. You've got criminals on the train every day. I actually see people masturbating. I see people naked. I see people defecating. Doesn't it sound wonderful? Give me some of the issues you've got with NJ Transit and Path that you want to see fixed.
I mean, I'm not going to go as far as you went, but I'm going to say that I'm going to say that the reality is that, look, the reliability is, you give it an F. You would say that the punctuality, F. You would say cleanliness, C. And you would say the fact that if they're not planning for capacity issues in the future, probably a D. So that's my scoreboard.
Wow. Well, Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop, by the way, is an ex-Marine, an Iraq war veteran. We thank you very much for your service.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And I want to ask you this question. I know it's a state issue, really, but it affects New Jersey residents big time, and of course, the suburbans in Long Island and Westchester County, et cetera. But to New Jersey's point, have you heard from, or will you hear from Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, or Senator Bob Menendez? Will they get involved in this at all?
I think Senator Menendez has been pretty vocal already on the fact that he's disappointed and concerned. He actually said that he viewed it as kind of double taxation, and New Jersey should be exploring options on that. So I think he's out there. He's probably going to escalate that, and I don't know where Senator Booker or his feelings on that are. He's very busy these days.
Yeah. Wrap this up, Steve. I got to tell you that I got buddies. They live in New York. They drive through the Holland Tunnel, so they pay you a toll. And they go right to the New Jersey side just so they can make a bet on FanDuel. They get back in their cars and drive right across back to New York City. How great is that?
Well, it's a good thing. I mean, look, New Jersey's good and up like we're a leader in something. It's a good thing.
Hey, listen, you're great, too. We love you. Steve Fulop, Mayor of Jersey City on the Bernie and Sid Show on WABC. Thank you, Mayor.
Take it easy, guys. Be good.
Nice to talk to you, too. That's the mayor again, like Bernie just said, at Jersey City, Steve Fulop. 1-800-848-WABC.